Hello and welcome to this very special edition of India Revival Mission. Today on ET Now, we have with us none other than V Kalyana Rama, CMD at Concord. Lots of questions to talk about with him. Mr. Rama, pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Hope you're doing well and hope everyone at Team Concord as well is.
Yeah, thank you, Vaishnav. Yes, we are fine. Even though we worked continuously during the lockdown also, but luckily we are not much affected by the COVID. Yeah, a few people got affected with COVID, but none of them had any serious problem. It's just a passing phase. So around 2% of my employees got affected, and they are now all fine.
Okay, good to hear that. Let me talk about your company then. And you have a 75% share of the country's rail container transportation business and will be a major beneficiary of the government's thrust towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat. How is it that you plan to use your expansive network, Mr. Rama, to capitalize on the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission?
You see, as of such, the Atmanirbhar Bharat should increase our exports more. The export competitiveness of Indian products will increase with this Atmanirbhar Bharat. As on date, more of primary products get exported from India rather than manufactured products. But now things started looking up. We hear that some mobile manufacturing is starting in India and something is shifting from other countries to India. So this will definitely increase the exports. So when the exports increase, like as on date, even in the lockdown period, as I said, when we were continuously working, we could see around 80 to 90% of the demand of last year's level, even in this lockdown period. Even unlock started, the unlock 1 and 2 is not completely fully operational. Manufacturing units still are, it's only a very low key going on. But we are getting a lot of exports. And with the train running, it's got improved a little bit because of there is not much of load on the network on Indian Railways as the passenger traffic is not happening now. So more and more exports are coming onto rail network and we are able to cater to that. We got the wherewithal to cater to a demand increase of another 100%.
Sure. Okay, that's good to hear. So a positive step in the right direction in that sense. But tell me, the other big trigger for Concord is the government's divestment drive as well, Mr. Rama. What is it going to mean for your leased land holdings, which are owned by railways? Have the objections on the stake sale been cleared now?
So there's no comment on my side because this is something which is a work in progress. So I can't give you, even though I will not tell you that I'm not in the know of the things, but I cannot comment on this.
Okay, I was just trying to push my luck because, the finance ministry, as we understand, does believe that instead of the land lease fee of 6% and an annual increment of 7% every year, the Ministry of Railways should be more flexible. So just wanted to understand how big an overhang would you think the land license issue is going to be for the potential buyers?
You see, land is the major asset and major input for this logistics industry. So it's very essential to have the ICDs at strategic locations. So there is no doubt that the railway land, which we are now having after surrendering 17 locations in the first quarter, that is the last 3 months, after starting from April, these are very strategic locations. So there is discussions, that discussions going on. Let the discussions be completed and the concerned department will definitely notify to the one and all how the things are going to take up.
Sure. Because I understand that the finance ministry has also suggested long-term land lease for 25 to 30 years be given to the new buyers. And I'm guessing, please correct me if I'm wrong here, that this is going to be very important, longer lease for large business continuity.
No comments from my side. So this I will not comment. You may try your luck, but I can't comment on these things. The concerned department is Deepam. So they will be giving you the input. So let's not go further on this.
Sure. We're going to wait for the official comments. Let's switch tone of the discussion then. Domestic players, global port trusts, various funds are interested to pick up a pie of Container Corporation. Just from your own perspective, someone who's at the helm of the company, what makes Container Corp such an interesting proposition?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I will answer this question. See,
Sure.
let me tell you, around 30 years back, when I was a young civil service officer, entered the field and then working, so everybody was talking the sunrise industry is the IT industry.
Hmm.
I'm basically an engineer, but I moved on to civil services. So I used to feel, am I in the wrong side? I'm not in the sunrise industry, but today the sunrise industry is the logistics industry. Honorable Prime Minister, when we were talking of the revival of Indian economy, he said the major role will be played by the supply chain logistics. The country which will have its supply chain logistics in good shape and having a right mix of the supply chain logistics will definitely do well and the economy will be doing much better in the coming days. So we are in the right segment of the industry. That's why the interest in this.
So, as you look back, are you happy that you did not make the switch to IT?
Obviously. So that's why that made me to head this wonderful company for last 4 years.
Okay. Wanted to understand during the COVID times, Mr. Rama, what's been your observation? Has the rail market share been higher in recent quarters because of greater COVID-led disruptions when it comes to road transport? And if so, how long do you really see this trend continue?
Yes, there is a shift from road to rail. There is increase in the rail coefficient. Not very high, but yes, compared to earlier times, there is definitely an increase in the rail coefficient. When I say rail coefficient, the more movement by rail. It's continuing now because of the problem still existing on the road sector. Now it is time for us to consolidate. So I'm having my discussions with Indian Railway, my colleagues in Indian Railways. So how to capitalize on this positive impact or in a negative time. So we are working on that. We are trying to come out with some sort of incentive schemes, some special packages to attract more and more onto the rail. So a positive step towards that is railway has announced some timetable running of freight trains for containers as well. So that will give a lot of boost for the export market because we are guaranteeing the delivery to the port. It's a very positive step.
Yeah. Tell me, what's the update on the dedicated freight corridor being partially commissioned, and what is it going to mean for your rail operations overall?
See, dedicated freight corridor, as things stand now and as I understand, I think will be operational by the end of this calendar year or by the March, by the end of the financial year, definitely,
Mm.
up to Palanpur. That means it will connect two ports, Mundra and Pipavav. JNPT, it will take some more time. But the connecting two ports, which are also contributing to a lot of container movement towards the north, that's, in Delhi, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh areas. The advantage of dedicated freight corridor is the assured transit time of the container movement to port and from port. That's very important. Where we can assure the customers and we can tell them at what will be the transit time. This is one thing which is lacking today on Indian Railway network.
Yeah. Uh, your company has been on the receiving end of the license fee decisions. The Railways has demanded a land license fee of about 777 odd crore rupees for just two terminals in Delhi, and the total land license fee for all terminals put together can be as much as perhaps 1,000 crore rupees per annum. Has there been any sort of middle ground which has been reached? And how exactly do you plan to absorb these costs going forward?
You see, for this, I already given clarification in my conference calls with the investors. We did a calculation as per the circulars in vogue. When we calculated, the land license fee is going to be around 450 crores. So we represented to the Minister of Railways and the discussions are going on. The clarifications have to come. So now, as per our calculations, the land license fee liability on for this financial year will be around 450 crores. Let's see what we will be able to come out with the Minister of Railways in the discussions.
Sure. You continue to remain very positive, Mr. Rama, about the long term business outlook and have continued to invest in expanding your infrastructure while sustaining a lean balance sheet, I must add. Tell us, how exactly have you managed to pull this through, and what have been the key investments that you've made off late, pre COVID?
Oh, pre-COVID, we were trying to expand our network. We were trying to build multimodal logistic parks. One across on the alongside the dedicated freight corridor, we developed one Katuas, which is already operational, and we are trying to build another 2, 3 terminals on the western dedicated freight corridor. And also, we are trying to connect the eastern part well with our network. See, our positive outlook is basically depending on our service quality levels. We have improved our service quality quite well in the last 4 years, and we work towards more of digitization. Our company is today I can claim almost 80 to 90% digitized. We are a complete paperless office. We completely work through ERPs, and in fact, we are working on some artificial intelligence systems wherein a customer experience will be completely it's a artificial intelligence based pre-predictive analysis will be given to the customer, and he can have complete transparency in his dealings. So that we are very hopeful as a team Conquer that we will be able to pull up our market share and we can create a lot of demand in this logistics sector. And as you mentioned, the dedicated freight corridor is going to give us that fillip because that is going to give us the transit guarantee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let me add here. You see,
Sure.
logistics has got two fundamental principles. These two, which are like a building blocks. One is visibility, cargo visibility, continuous cargo visibility, and second is the transit guarantee. So, continuous cargo visibility, we created the complete environment wherein now my customer has got 24/7 cargo visibility as long as the cargo is with Conquer. That's a very positive thing for getting a customer satisfaction, customer value creation. And the transit guarantee, which today we are not able to guarantee to our customers because of certain inherent infrastructure problems, there Indian Railways is continuously working and dedicated freight corridor will help us. So that's the basic the premises on which we are working on.
Let's talk about what happened in the first quarter. And much like India Inc., clearly, your revenues as well as volumes and profitability did take a hit. But what's the kind of visibility that you have, Mr. Rama, going forward? What kind of revenue projections and operational performance you think you'll be able to clock in?
See, the forecast what we have given is that we will try to achieve around 80% of turnover of the last year. Last year, we did an operating turnover of around 6,500 crores. So we are aiming around 80% of that. That comes to around 5,200 to 5,300 crores. But because of the increase in the land license fee and the reduction in the volume, our PAT may take a hit. Last year, we are almost to the level of 1,000 crores. This year, we are expecting it to be around maybe around 400 crores to 450 crores PAT.
Sure. Also, we saw some volume degrowth as well of almost about 21%. And again, you could attribute that to COVID. Now that you're slowly seeing both domestic as well as global activity pick up, are you retaining your earlier guidance of a 20% decline in handling volumes for FY21 estimated?
Yeah, as of now, we are maintaining the same forecast because the things are going to stabilize in Q3 and Q4. We are expecting to be a good quarter. So having not performing well for 3 quarters, it is very difficult to cover up in 1 quarter. So we keep our forecast at 80% of last year's volumes and the turnover at 80%. And if we can do well, it is good for the investors.
It sure is. You've managed to, Mr. Rama, looking back, overcome long stretch and periods of slow growth, commodity price inflation. How is it that you see the company growing? I mean, say 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line? What really is the long-term vision that you've set out at being at the helm of Concord?
Very interesting question. So let me share our vision.
Sure.
So we always continuously work on this in our company. And off late, I think maybe a week back, we worked out again as a team conquer what is our objective for the next 5 years. See, we started not only, see, we were originally a company dealing in container logistics. Now, in that 3 areas we were working on container handling, container movement, and warehousing, storage. Now we are adding complete logistics to it. So we started a concept called FMLM, first mile, last mile, wherein we will be picking up at the door and delivering at the door. Even though today also we claim we do that, but our share in the market is very low in this segment. We call them end logistics. Our share is only 5%. Now our aim is to increase it in the near future to 20% and in 5 years to 50% of the volumes what we are dealing with. So this is just a backward integration of the existing business. In addition to this, last year we started coastal shipping. That's a new vertical we started. We are entering into distribution logistics. We are creating 20 nodes across the country. They are only distribution logistics. They will do 3PL for all the industrial goods and agricultural commodities. So this 20 in the distribution nodes will create a lot of warehousing. Around 50 million square feet warehousing we are going to create at these 20 distribution nodes. And these we are working in a PPP model. So we'll have business partners working with us. So it's not only the investment is also from the business partner, but also the strength of operations and the business acumen will be there. So it's with Concour's strength, the other business partner strength will add into it. So,
Sure.
and we are working on another vertical is movement of commodities in bulk. Let me give you some little input here. When I
Sure.
say in bulk, most of the commodities in India, they move in bags, even though they are not required to be bagged. Only for the ease of movement, for not having the wherewithal to move the commodity in bulk, we do the bagging and debag it for the consumption. Now we are trying to eliminate that bagging and debagging process, which not only saves the cost to the manufacturer and the consumer, but also it protects the environment. For example, cement. 70% of cement is used in bulk, but only 10% is moving in bulk. Rest is bagged and debagged for consumption. So there's now when you look at this bulk movement, it's a huge market. You just think of any commodity which can move in bulk. Food grain, cement, salt, industrial chemicals, industrial salts, oil, and what not. Everything can move in bulk. Today, many of the things are moving in back. So we are working on a solution, cost-effective solution to move the bulk, and we are doing a lot of R&D on that, and we are in the final stages of offering a commercial product of this.
Mr. Rama, since you are best placed to help us understand where exactly is the revival happening, considering you've got your ears close to the ground, help us understand which sectors do you really see revival kicking in and buoyancy and perhaps yellow weeds or green shoots emerging?
You see, the revival will be more seen in MSME sector because that's a place where a lot of human capital will get employed. So as on date, because of the disruptions happened, the less capital intensive industries will definitely see a much faster revival. And
Mm.
also the realty sector will see a lot of revival, and the industry connected with the agricultural products is going to pick up very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want you to, Mr. Rama, use this platform and really send out a message to your investors. I know divestment is the next big trigger, which everyone's waiting for. Uh, but if you had to use this platform really to send out a message to investors as to why is it that they should be looking at Concor as a good investment opportunity, what would you tell them?
See, Concur is now turning into a complete logistic solutions provider. One from not only as with containers, but we are also now trying to come into bulk and as well a true multimodal solutions connecting rail, road, and short sea we started. So this complete solutions which we are offering will definitely create a lot of customer value. When we create customer value, our share in the market will is going to increase, which is any day the beneficial thing for any investor who is with Conquer.
Okay, great, Mr. Rama. We'll chat once we have some more clarity and official confirmation on the divestment roadmap for Concord. But great to have you today on ET Now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to speak to you.